You're watching Taste of Victory.
By now, Booster Set 8 is finally out, and I am so hyped. O2 has some of my favorite designs in the entire franchise, even if it's not necessarily one of the best seasons of the anime. And the meta is looking really diverse in the card game, so I'm super excited to see how North America is going to bust it open. Let's go ahead and start with Rapid Hybrids, or Hybrids of Destiny if you're cool, because Rapidmon Digivolves from the Digi-Egg of Destiny. So this is basically taking the core of Yellow Hybrids from Booster Set 7 and turning it into a more of a slightly faster, more strong and board clearing version thanks to Rapidmon. Since this is a majority cards from Booster Set 7 because you're building a Yellow Hybrids base, if you don't have time or don't have the budget to upgrade to a whole new BT8 deck just yet, this is a fantastic deck for you to jump into the Booster Set 8 format and start doing very well at any event you enter. Rapidmon is quite the insane card that ends up being a nuke for this deck because basically it has Armor Purge like all the other armors. It can Digivolve from 3 from Terriermon, but we're not running it, so you have to pay the full 4, but we have ways around that, you know? But its effect is, when Digivolving, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon for each tamer you have in play, then up to 3 of your opponent's suspended Digimon get minus 5,000 DP for the turn. This becomes huge. You could clear a Mega and some champions. Like, you could clear entire boards with this and another tamer coming up that we will add to the list soon going through the profile. It's just such a powerful momentum swinging tool that sets your opponent so far behind because you're clearing entire boards, and then the fact that you Armor Purge as well, like, you don't even mind if you have to trade with your opponent's board if the DP minusing threshold becomes awkward because you just Armor Purge and still have a rookie underneath it. You can just go into Rapidmon again, you know? So let's go ahead and start with our eggs going upwards. Cupidmon has when attacking inheritable. If you have 5 or more security cards, trigger draw 1. This is the egg that I like to prioritize because this deck recovers a lot, and a lot of good players, to not play into your win con, will not try and poke away at you. They will wait until they have lethal or tons of swings set up on board and then start swinging. So in that time, you know, you take advantage of that by getting the free draws off of Cupidmon, which is why we are maxing that out, because I think it synergizes the most with the playstyle. For our 5th egg, however, since you do want it, since this deck will go into grind game quite often, you're going to have an Upamon, which is when attacking once per turn. If you have 3 or fewer security cards, trigger draw 1. It's kind of like the reverse of Cubimon once you're later into the game, so it's just another good option to have a pretty easy to hit draw condition. After that, we move up to our rookies. Turning on stats, you can see here that we don't have too many rookies. We are only running 7, and that is because of our hybrid package letting us Digivolve from our Tabers, basically acting as additional rookies. But the ones that we are running are 3 of Salamon. This is the on deletion one. If you have 3 or fewer security cards, trigger recovery +1. So this is to help you stay in the game. You get to swing at it, chip away at security, hopefully it gets deleted, and you get to recover +1. And if not, it's just another target for your Rapidmons to Digivolve over. Really good for this deck. Then we have Patamon. For this is from the first starter deck, the yellow starter deck. It has the inheritable your turn once per turn. When an opponent's Digimon is deleted by dropping to 0 DP, gain 1 memory. And Rapidmon will be doing that a lot. So this and Cody, which is a tamer we'll be adding to the list soon, are really important for the Rapidmon play because of that memory gain. Rapidmon is 4 cost. Rapidmon is a win Digivolving, so even if you do pass turn, it's not the worst. However, the tamer Cody lets you tap it to subtract an additional 2000 DP if you are attacking with the Rapidmon. So that 2000 DP is an important threshold to hit to clear an opponent's board in 1 turn. So the memory gain off of Cody, the memory gain off of Patamon for the when Digivolving deletion through DP minusing, that's really important to keep it your turn when Digivolving into Rapidmon, since 4 memory to go into a champion is really expensive, so I think the Patamon's kind of non-negotiable at 4 copies to help make those plays with your Rapidmon. Next, we move on to our champion lineup. Kazimon is just a cheap Digivolve over a Tamer because it's a hybrid, nothing more to say there. Zephyrmon is the exact same thing, except you can also Digivolve over your other level 4s to help you cycle and draw through your deck, as well as when Digivolving, if a card with hybridness traits or Zoe is in this Digimon sources, all of your security Digimon get plus 3000 DP until the end of your opponent's next turn. So even if your opponent removes this, the effect will still linger there. Then we have Rapidmon, who we went over, is incredibly powerful nuke for this deck. Then we have Jet Sylphimon. I think everybody hates this card. It's just so good for what it does. It's way too efficient because when you Digivolve over to Digimon with a Tamer in its sources, you can reduce the cost by 2 to essentially Digivolve for only 1. So for only 1 memory, which you will very easily be able to meet that condition, it's just so free to get you back into the game and recover up to huge levels of security to make it really annoying for your opponent to be able to OTK you or even get through your security at all. So yeah, Jet Sylphimon is amazing. You need to run 4 of it because it's just such an easy to meet condition to recovery +1. So that is going to be our hybrids. After that, we move up to our megas. For our megas, we have 2 Seraphimon to help us be aggressive. It has 1 Digivolving Trigger, recovery +1, so you can go up to any amount of security off of that. And then your turn, well, you have 3 or more security cards, which is really easy to meet in this deck. This Digimon gains security attack +1. So Seraphimon is really important, especially in a tournament environment. You have a time limit to your rounds, and you need to be able to close out games after you've been digging and trying to recover yourself and all that. Seraphimon gives you that push with the aggro security attack +1, checking for 2 swings. And now this format is a little more dangerous to swing into. There is a lot more stuff that will delete Seraphimon through its DP now, but a lot of times people are stocking up on Tamers and Search a Rookie, so you have a decent chance of surviving and getting both checks off. The value of being able to have that option to be more aggressive is more important than worrying if it'll survive your check, you know? After that, we have a Susanomon. Susanomon is 7 memory to Digivolve into. It has the effect to Digivolve over one of your Tamers too, if you could place 6 Tamer cards or cards with hybrids and their traits from your hand or trash at the bottom of your deck in any order. It deletes something when Digivolving unconditionally, and then it has security attack +2, so it can swing for 3 checks. This card does a lot. It stops you from decking out, it gives you huge aggro plays with a security attack +2, and it can delete something. So with all the memory you gain off your Tamers in this deck, it's very possible to go into this on the right turn without passing turn. And even if you can't, the pressure this puts on your opponent is enormous. Just being able to potentially push and close game with this is amazing. So Susanomon is a must-have. And if you have access to it, I could suggest upping it to 2. If you feel you can make room for it, definitely feel free to run 2 copies of this. Moving on, we have our non-Digimon cards in the deck, starting with the option Tactical Retreat. It's only 1 memory cost, and then main, place one of your Digimon on top of your security stack face down, and then trash all Digivolution cards of that Digimon, and a security effect is trigger recovery +1. So in security, this is fantastic as being a free recover. It's like if your opponent didn't even swing with that attack, and then its main effect is really useful because you can put something into security and make it a big threat for your opponent, or you can combo with Jet Sylphimon. Something I've seen a lot of players do and that I really like as a combo is you could go into Jet Sylphimon basically for free or for only 1 memory, and then once you get the recovery off, you can play Tactical Retreat to put it in there, and then you can play Zoe to get it back and have a setup Jet Sylphy play for next turn. It offers a lot of really cool, neat little interactions like that, and I think being able to save you in security by recovering +1 makes it a really good option. I do like it at 2 only, you know, because you don't want to see it too early, but you do want to see it in your security, so I think 2 is a good ratio. If you want to experiment with different cards, I think Tactical Retreat is definitely the flex spot. Then we have Reinforced Memory Boost. This card is insane. Sure, it's 6 memory, but you get to stack your security and draw a card that you may have really been lacking, and then later you get to delay it for 3 memory. 3 memory is gigantic. It could be the difference between Digivolving into Susano without passing turn for lethal or passing turn. Then we have Wyvern's Breath. So this is definitely a card whose ratio you can play around with. I am running it at 2 currently. It's basically Yellow's Gaia Force, which one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 15,000 TP for the turn, and it activates the main effect in security. It's basically a security bomb. It's a panic button to remove something on the field as well, because only so many things can protect from DP minusing in this meta. So it's a really great card that you could play around with your ratios. If you want more security bombs, you could up this from 2, you know? And then we have Yellow Memory Boost, which lets you search the top 4 and grab a yellow card, and a yellow Digimon card. And we have tons of those. It could even grab our Rapid Monsters, it's half yellow. And then later you could delay it for 2 memory. So it's a really good card for consistency. You can play around with this ratio, of course, if you more want to go the security control route, but I think the ratio is really important. And this deck does play a slower game, so you want to have the draw power that this card offers and the memory gain for big play turns. Then to end this out, we have our Tamer lineup. TK is, I think, almost a non-negotiable at 4 copies because it's just so powerful for your consistency. It lets you see your entire security, which knowing what's in your security can alter the entire way you play the rest of the game. I think that's really important info. It guarantees you 3 memory for your big play turn so you don't get choked anymore. And then you get to recover after grabbing something out of, and then you get to add something out of security and recover if it was yellow. So it boosts your consistency if something you needed was stuck in there. TK is amazing, definitely wanted at 4. After that, we have TK and Kari. This one is from booster set 6, start of your turn. If you have fewer security cards than your opponent, gain 2 memory. And then your turn, when one of your yellow Digimon attacks, you may suspend this Tamer to have one of your opponent's Digimon get minus 1000 TP for the turn. So when you have this and Cody out, and Rapidmon, you are just clearing any board imaginable. Your opponent could have a Mega and 2 Ultimates, it doesn't matter. It's a really great bonus. But then also, its ability to give you memory is really amazing because a lot of people will just not poke you and wait until they have lethal set up to start swinging or close to lethal. But this deck does punish people that want to go in right away, or decks that can high roll really early into the game like Imperial Dramon. It punishes them if they want to do those chips or if they don't end up finishing the combo because your security messed them up or something. You're going to get huge much memory because this does stack with your other memory tamers, so that is really good synergy there. Then we have Zoe. Zoe is basically like TK except only for hybrids and 10 warriors. But it also does have the inheritable, all of your security Digimon get plus 3000 DP for the turn. If you stack this with Zephyrmon, that's plus 6000 DP. So it'll be very unlikely for your opponent to live security checks with those huge DP boosts if you have the full stack out and they hit a Digimon. So yeah, it's another great consistency card that lets you grab missing pieces. It's amazing. Definitely TK is the more important one, which is why I run it at 4 over Zoe, which is only 3. Then we have Cody, our other tamer that we are running at 4 copies because this is amazing. We have been hyping this up the whole profile, and here it is. Start of your turn, if you have yellow Digimon in play, gain 1 memory. Your turn, when one of your Digimon with 2 or more colors attacks, you may suspend this tamer to give one of your opponent's Digimon minus 2000 DP for the turn. So, that your turn effect does only synergize with your Rapidmon, but that's all you want it to synergize with because that 5000 DP and then swinging and tapping this for another 2000 is usually the threshold that you need to finish off your opponent's board. It's just so great, and then getting that extra memory is a really easy condition to meet, will help you prevent passing turn when Digivolving into Rapidmon. And when you get multiple of these and stack them out, oh my god, like you just clear, you could do like up to like 4,000 with just 2 of them, you know, that in addition to the 5,000 already, it's just insane. I think you can absolutely play with this ratio, you know, you could definitely do like 3 copies if you want to fit something else in, but I really like it at 4 because seeing more of it is never bad. Finally, to round out, our last tamer in the list is going to be Kari. Kari is another memory tamer, so if we don't see TK, he helps us out there. And then, your turn, when a card is added to your security stack, you may suspend this tamer to gain 1 memory. So Kari is really cool synergy with the recovery in this deck, because with Tactical Retreat, if Kari's out, you get to play this for free. If you Digivolve into Jet Sylphimon, you literally get to play it for free if you have a Digimon with hybrid in its sources, and Kari is out. When you Digivolve into Seraphimon, you can Digivolve for a cost of 2 with Kari out. If you have both of them out, you can Digivolve for a cost of 1. You know, it's really good synergy with all the recovery that you have in this deck, and lets you continue your turns without passing, and lets you continue your turns by making some memory costs completely free. You can definitely up this to 3 and play around with that ratio if you want to cut down on one of the other tamers. But yeah, this deck is amazing. Like, Rapidmon does so much for this deck and lets you be a little more aggressive. Something that a lot of people were scared of before was that like this thing would go to time way too often, which is why we didn't see it in tournament a lot in Booster Set 7, but now you can afford to be more aggro, and the only thing you're really scared of is the yellow mirror going to time. But that is going to be this deck. Let me know what you guys think. I think there's a lot of room to tech for what you're expecting at your local meta with this deck, so let me know what you guys are running instead, what you suggest instead, and I'll see you in the next video. And until then, remember to stay hungry until you get a taste of victory.